Home of the free, home of the wild, traditions you learned when you were a child. Believe in the freedom that made this land. The future of hunting is in your hands. Believe in the freedom that made this land. The future of hunting is in your hands.
Hey everybody, I'm Kevin Hoyt and welcome to my home state of Vermont and welcome to the future of hunting. And we're here today talking about black bears in the beautiful state of Vermont, and ironically we found a biologist named FORREST. I thought that was cool, right? And FORREST, you are the bear biologist, the expert for Vermont State, right?
I do work for the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department as a bear project leader, yes.
And I want to talk specifically the population. Again, this is a beautiful time of year. Vermont State, I think, is one of the most spectacular states in the Union, especially now.
Yes.
And hidden among all that color out there, we've got quite a few black bears, don't we?
We do. We have a good population of bears. We've got between 4,500 and 6,000 black bears.
And they're all very, very healthy from what I've seen.
They are. They had a rough year last year. They were a bit thin. There wasn't a lot of food. But this year is completely different. There's an abundance of food in the field right now.
Which is good news for all our lucky youth hunt winners. This season I teamed up with Vermont Master Houndsman Scott Morse, who is concerned for the future of this heritage and our beautiful black bear. Scott actually contacted me and wanted to know if I knew any young sportsmen who wanted the education and wanted to get involved. We had an essay contest to pick the winner, but Scott's heart is the only thing bigger than his generosity, and he couldn't decide. He didn't want to disappoint anyone, so one winner turned into 2, then 3, 4, 5. All total, Scott took out 10 new bear hunters who all harvested their first bear. Many was their first big game harvest. This episode is a small chronicle of those adventures.
My name is Noah Hayner. I'm 22 years old and from Bennington, Vermont.
So Noah was our first victim in the bear games. Noah, what did you think? Was it everything you expected, or?
It was everything but more, but the only part that I didn't expect quite was the physical demand of it, the hiking, and just how fast-paced it is, and your adrenaline's running the whole time, but it's so strenuous.
We got Ryder that we're getting collared.
Yeah, this is Henry over here, Brownhead.
Brownhead
This
Henry.
is Andy. Andy and Henry are brothers.
Nice.
Yeah. Over there we got Heck, Smoke, and Natty.
Heck. Come here, Heck. Smoke right in
That's Smoke, yeah.
So to bear hunt, there's a lot of driving involved. It's a lot of driving. I mean, you drive around until the dogs pick up on a smell. With any hunt, locating your game is the first chore you need to do. So with bear hunting, you're driving around a lot. And we did a lot of that in the beginning of it until your strike dog catches the scent of a bear. So the driving aspect, we've gone down a few roads back and forth and the dogs wouldn't catch them on the scent. We'd get the strike dog might think she got a scent, let her out, still nothing, and you just drive and drive and drive until
We're off and running, guys. That one, because I'm telling you, she's sailing.
Lead the pack, and she didn't stop and wait.
She ain't waiting.
She was over 100 yards up in there.
You watch it, we get going, probably the purple dog, which is my Andy dog and my Henry dog, they'll get ahead of her. But they're younger dogs, they get screwed up. She'll just keep right on and coming, and she'll straighten it out, and then they'll go again.
Y'all excited?
oh yeah.
They'll stay there all day. So I've had them there 6-7 hours at the tree.
My problem is, like I said, it's 1.4. We'll hike 1.3, and they decide to come down.
That's what you gotta watch.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done that.
We walked 2.5 miles in here one day, and they come down when we got 50 yards of the tree.
Yeah. We got about 1.5 miles to walk to a tree. See if we can get this chap over here his first bear. 1.5 miles. That's not bad. We're 1.5 miles away. No.
So after the dogs have gotten the bear treed and we were leaving the truck, they were about a little over a mile away. Well, you soon realize a mile is a long way, especially when you're going through woods, which is thick with bushes, and you're up and down hills and cross a stream here and there. It becomes a very long distance and very tiring.
Within a quarter mile, buddy.
Vermont definitely ain't flat.
Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to our Vermont black bear hunt. At this point, I just ran a mile and a half up a mountain trying to keep up with Noah Hayner, who was trying to keep up with our master houndsman, Scott Morse.
Your adrenaline kick in when you get close, but we can really hear them. And you ain't lying getting in there.
And that was just the beginning of the chaos.
So we get to the bear, and I get the gun up to the tree and the scope on the bear, and my scope is crooked, which at that moment, with the adrenaline going through your body, your heart kind of drops for a second. Right there, Kevin was able to fix my scope and adjust it, and everything's going so fast, the dogs are so loud, everything's chaotic, and you're like in the moment. And I get the gun up to the tree and pull the trigger and just click.
Oh yeah, there's one in it. Misfire.
And in that moment, that was where it really became so much pressure, a lot of added pressure, which then I just ejected that bullet. So after the chaos, it only took 2 shots, and after that, the rush of it just comes down, because all the chaos, and then it's just.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Look at me, you've got no turf left. The dog's done good, man. That's pretty awesome.
Your first big game animal, ain't it? First big game.
I've been hunting for 9 years with no luck until I met Kevin Hoyt last spring, in which I harvested my first bird. And to me, a bear was a huge trophy and a huge accomplishment. I've always dreamed of harvesting, and Kevin and Scott gave me a great opportunity to fulfill that.
I'm about ready to die. These guys, our guides here, Scott Morse and the crew, are like half mountain goat. They just ran us 2 miles up the side of a mountain. Well, cool. Well worth that, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Last year we treated 39 bear.
Wow.
And, you know, and these guys were just puppies.
Yeah.
And,
What'd you say, this is 68?
68.
Since June? That's
I
phenomenal. It's a nice bear. Nice first bear. Okay, can you imagine getting swamped by them things?
This is.
And you see how lovable my dogs are.
I know,
They're
they are.
lovable.
They're lap dogs.
Good boy.
Until you put them on a bear, then it's like a light switch.
No, why are you shaking?
Wicked. I know, look at it. I'm vibrating too. I just about had a heart attack on the way up the hill. Awesome first bear. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
And you see that bear was a couple 100 yards off the road.
Yeah,
Where
he
they
must have
struck
been.
him.
He must have been.
He never crossed. You wait till we get one. You get one that crosses the road.
Yeah, they
You can box and hop him right up and down in the back of the truck.
Yeah, I bet. This ain't no guided, paid guided hunt. Get the dragon. Better them than me. And as all hunters know, that's where the real work starts. If you think a mile and a half is a long way up a mountain, it seems like 10 times further going back down.
We're going pretty good, believe it or not. Right. We're on the turn.
Good boy.
Where the river goes like this.
Yeah.
We're getting down there.
Several hours later, we finally made it out of the woods and onto the reporting station. Another incredible memory from the great outdoors. And then we were on to the next one. 15-year-old Haley Frederick is our next victim. Her and her father Kevin joined us for this adventure after winning our essay contest. Eric and Elizabeth Berger, owners of the historic Arlington Inn, were kind enough to donate accommodations, so our lucky hunters had all the extras. All right, everybody, here we are with Elizabeth Berger with the beautiful Arlington Inn, one of the owners here. And can you tell me, Elizabeth, a little bit about the establishment? It's gorgeous to start with, but
Thanks.
how old and what's the history?
So the inn itself was built as a private home by Martin Chester Deming, and he built it in the carriage house in 1847.
Wow,
And my husband and I have owned the inn for the last 18 years.
that's nice. And the carriage house, absolutely stunning. You got a barn out back. You got how many? 3 buildings? 4 buildings?
We have 3 buildings that have guest rooms, and then
Right.
the barn makes 4, and we do like weddings, anniversaries, birthday parties, stuff like that.
Right. And this is where you have weddings and all the other spectacular events that we do here at the Arlington Inn. It's a great place to get together with people, and of course you got the gardens out back. You got play places for the kids. Everybody's welcome here. I saw some jacuzzis
Yep, and so we have 6 rooms that all have their own 2-person jacuzzis in them.
in the rooms.
In the
And
rooms.
Fireplaces, a couple fireplaces I saw.
Yep.
Absolutely beautiful, beautiful establishment and lodging here in the center of Vermont. Again, it's beautiful. On top of that, you guys offer a restaurant.
Yes, we serve 5 nights a week.
We have other guests on the property. Saw some ducks out there, right?
Yep, ducks and chickens.
And again, right here in Arlington is a beautiful area in general for not only the landscapes and the mountains, but the wildlife. This is a fantastic destination to spend your hard-earned Django when you're looking for a vacation spot.
Yeah, we have a world-class Battenkill River that goes right through, and it's great for either fishing, trout fishing, or recreation.
There's a lot here in Vermont, so I hope people come on down and enjoy it. We welcome everybody. And we welcome you to come back and join us right after this quick break. Welcome back to our Vermont black bear hunt with Master Houndsman Scott Morse, our young huntress Haley Frederick, and her dad Kevin, our guests on this adventure. Now you can't sleep in and participate in this sport, so we were up and involved by daybreak. It wasn't long before Superstar Maddie got her first strike of the day, and everyone waited in anticipation to see if this one would pay off. Did 112. So we know it's an older track just because of the time they're traveling. Looks like they're going now.
Yeah, now they're going.
So how do you tell when they're when they have a tree?
They actually have a switch on them. So when they're upright, when they're looking up a tree, right, when they're standing, it'll show that it's treed. So on there, it'll actually show a dog tree, like upright. It'll show them they're treed. And if you get a couple dogs that are treed, then you know.
Hear 'em?
Ready to roll, girl? Get a bear. You guys know what comes next, right? Yeah, hiking. And more hiking. Fueled by adrenaline and anticipation, we once again realized just how far a mile in the woods up a Vermont mountain really is. Scott would give us a few breaks, but they didn't last long. Haley, you still cold? As the dogs grew louder, that anticipation builds until it's almost unbearable. And then, there. In the moment with a monster brewing, the moment of truth,
Take your time.
the moment of intense pressure.
Got all the time in the world. Put it right on his head. Right between his eyes.
Good girl!
Haley, that's a big bear, man. Nice.
Your hand ain't all, and there's big as his foot.
One of his paws are bigger than my entire hand.
All right, everybody. You don't get much better than this. Beautiful green mountains. You say it. Listen to that dog. He's ready. With Haley. And Haley. Incredible bear. This is great. What'd you think of the hunt?
I had a great time. Thank you so much.
It was chaotic there. It was kind of boring at first, right? We rode around. We had to wait to find a strike. And we got lucky. Like I said, within a mile, it was a pretty close bear, actually, and it was almost flat. Of course, it's Vermont, so it's never flat. But this is a heck of a bear. Look at the head on that thing. I don't know if you can wheel it around. You can barely lift it, can't you? I can't either. Look at the size of that head, folks. Big old gnarly's got some choppers on him. That's a cool bear. Get girls rule. Hey, wait a minute. You skipped cheerleading practice yesterday, right? What's that about? No, that's kind of a cool thing though, because a lot of people, they relate it to manly sport, right? Hunting is a boy's thing, but that's the best part. You don't have to be big or strong. And you definitely don't have to be a boy to do it.
Good boy.
What do you think? You recommend this for other girls?
Yes.
Yeah. Heart beating?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Scott Morse, for having us out here, and the Arlington Inn for providing lodging for these guys. And this is a heck of a Green Mountain adventure. I can't believe we got one this big. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
So we took care of tags and legalities, and that's when the real work
It's not going
starts.
to be too bad in these wet leaves.
Yeah.
We got some help coming.
That's what I like about you. Your wife and your sense of humor. You got a pretty good pack of dogs, too. And I gotta let you guys in on an inside joke. As Scott was dragging us up this mountain, his reassurance was, it's 900 yards. That's only 9 football fields, or 500 yards, only 5 football fields. The joke got old fast, but it seemed to work and ran throughout the adventures. Looking smaller already.
Ryder, he's big.
Well, that was 10 feet. Only 9.5 football fields left.
That's enough of that joke, yes, ain't it?
All jokes aside, this is hard work. Thank God we had lots of help and we took shifts, but it still wasn't easy.
Yeah, we're only 430 yards from the road.
Right here, at the end of it. Want me to head to the truck?
I can see the sweat.
At the end of the road.
Come to Vermont, we'll have a good time.
It was a good time, a great time, but like all things worthwhile, it also involves an incredible amount of hard work. Anyone who thinks this is easy has never done it before.
Pause for a quick stroke. We've been dragging for an hour.
Wow. Doesn't even feel like that long.
That's because you're not dragging.
The people who were dragging knew what I was talking about. Even with 5 adult men and 2 backup draggers who came to help, it was still no easy task. I'll say it quiet, but only 4 football fields to go. Everybody stay tuned, and we'll be back with more Vermont black bear hunting.
I thought he was picking them. We're over here struggling. He's over there picking berries.
No, they're on the ground.
Welcome back to our Vermont black bear hunting adventure.
That's your biggest bear, you think?
Biggest one I've killed with dogs, yeah.
Wow. Man, all sorts of firsts today.
Eventually, some 3 hours later,
That's pretty good.
we finally made it back to the
That's
truck.
the biggest one your guide ever got. Jeez. What was that about showing the boys how to do it?
And Haley got to learn a few new things too. The education and knowledge found in this heritage is important and valuable.
Houndsmans have big hearts.
Dad, make me a blanket out of this.
Bear rug?
Yeah.
I've been scammed. We're dealing with the pro.
Is it gonna fall?
No.
You worried about it?
It won't kill him.
And thanks to Barry Boker and Boker's Taxidermy, it looks like Haley got all her wishes. Barry's a great guy and an incredible artist that has a taxidermy shop on the Vermont-New York line. He donated his spectacular services to this great cause. If you're a hunter looking for a taxidermist you can trust, from birds to fish, whitetails to black bear, a special artist with a unique talent, Barry's the guy, and Boker Taxidermy comes with the Future of Hunting Conservation sponsor seal of approval. Thanks, Barry. Now it's time for Conservation Station. We take a look at where our hunting and fishing money goes and exactly how it helps the wildlife. Okay, everybody, welcome to Conservation Station, and we're here today talking about black bears in the beautiful state of Vermont. And Forrest, you are the bear biologist, the expert for Vermont State, right?
I do work for the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department as a bear project leader, yes.
Right, the project leader, and you've been doing this for a while, we were just talking.
Yeah, I've been doing this for over a decade in Vermont, and I've actually worked with bears for nearly 40 years now.
Wow, that's impressive. As far as the population of bear goes and wanting to keep it at a smaller number, we talked about 1,000 bear reduction. Again, that's not only for the habitat, but it's for negative human
Oh yeah, it's for tolerance.
tolerance.
Right? How many bears will people tolerate? And a lot of the people coming to Vermont really don't understand bears. They've got an innate fear of bears.
Right.
They're thrilled to see one the first time, but after it tears their bird feeder down or,
Right.
or rolls their garbage can down the street, then we start getting complaints. And one resource that we have that helps us with these complaints is actually HOUNDSMAN.
Sure.
If a game warden is getting a lot of reports from his district of problems with bears, then often he'll ask a houndsman to come and perhaps try to run the bear out of an area, kind of haze it out.
Gotcha.
Where hopefully it won't come back to that area, especially bears that are in cornfields.
Right. I've heard the same thing. I know a couple of the houndsmen that we run with actually work with Massachusetts as well. And again, we'll have bears in campgrounds or recreation areas, and basically the dogs just kind of run them out of Dodge. Any recommendations for just your regular homeowner that maybe doesn't want to see a bear so much?
Well, one, they should recognize the role of hunting.
Right.
Because I really believe that hunting changes the behavior of bears. Just having a hunting season out there, our bears are less apt to come onto our back porches and in our backyards and cause issues.
Right, that fear is what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
It's healthy and good for a bear to be afraid of men because...
It is. If
Right.
a bear is not afraid of people, it's called becoming habituated and used to people. And when they do that, they go, oh, people in their backyards are a source of food, that's where I'm going to hang out.
Right.
And it's hard to live with bears that are not scared of you.
Gotcha. They're big, strong animals and they can be deadly. Right?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
They certainly can. Bears are very intelligent, and there are times of the year where it's tough for them to get enough calories,
Right.
especially to be putting on weight in planning for the hibernation period during the winter. And so they'll take advantage of an easy food source.
Sure.
And so we do have problems with them coming into farmers' cornfields, getting garbage or birdseed. Those are some of the major problems and issues.
New York State started baiting a few years ago, and once that started, we started seeing garbage problems. These bears are naturally afraid of humans. They won't come to somebody's garbage. They smell human scent. When people are starting to bait, you know, they try to keep as much human scent off the bait as possible.
Right.
Until the bears get used to them. Well, those bears are getting used to human scent, and they're coming over here, and they're not afraid of it anymore. They're getting in our garbage.
And I know the collar program is another big way that you guys monitor and look after the well-being of the bears. Are houndsmen involved with that too?
They certainly are. We do research on bears for specific reasons. We've got a research project in the southern part of the state right now that's involved with a large wind energy project on National Forest Service land. And we've collared probably over 50 bears with that project. And most of those, or a fair number of those, were caught with the use of hounds.
Well, again, I'm proud to be a part of that. Again, I'm a hunter, so I'm an everyday part of the bear's life. Every once in a while, a part of his death, but I feel like we're a part of fishing game too. So it's an honor to help you guys. I appreciate what you do.
Every state that has bears, their management program's different, their population of bears is different. In Maine, they feel they actually don't have enough hunters to control the size of the population. And so it's just been steadily climbing, and they're kind of worried about that.
Right. They just lengthen. Again, that's how we determine season lengths, bag limits, those
That's
type
correct.
of issues.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll shake your hand again. Thank you again for a
Sure.
great interview.
It was
Everybody
fun.
stay tuned. We'll be back to some more bear hunting.
I'm Charles Robillard. I'm 14. I'm from Northfield, Vermont.
All right, I lied to you, but not on purpose. We're just out of time for today's show. I'd love to keep bear hunting with you. And if you tune in next episode, you'll see we continue our Vermont black bear adventure. Dog tired right there. Only this time, we send both apprentice and his mentor home with incredible animals and incredible memories. Doubled up. That's awesome. It's bear hunting so easy, huh?
Yeah. Get your exercise.
Your glasses are fogged up. Special thanks again to Vermont Master Houndsman Scott Morse and everybody who helped this happen and who help us save the future of hunting. We'll see you next week.